Yes, I know.
Yes,
Yes.
mashallah.
You know, you remember when you told me that dream,
Yes,
to put you off marriage.
That's right, yes. But that was a great,
So I told you this.
that was a great,
No, I told you there and then that it's a sure sign of Allah's pleasure with you.
mashallah.
Because I have seen some old men
Yes.
yearning for marriage and Allah would not care. You know, let them do it. But when he seriously undertook this and was about to get married, really, Allah stopped him positively in his dream. I said, no more of this now. So I think it's a sign of Allah's pleasure.
That shows that if God hadn't stopped me, I would have jumped into the ditch actually.
Yes, exactly. Exactly, yes. That's it. You know, otherwise, ordinary old men who have no real correct relationship with Allah may see a different type of dream. But because there was a very special significance in that, I don't want to relate the whole thing. Not only he, but another party's future was involved in a very special way. And I was so happy that Allah guided him so correctly and so clearly of that. Yes, please. You want to be guided off or into it? I'm asking you, Rashid Yar Saab. Bashir Yar Saab.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. मैं कहीं धक्के तो ना दिया
I may not trample in by.
Have you heard that joke about one's praying for money? No? That's a joke. Unfortunately, it can't be rightly translated by me into English. I don't have adequate knowledge of English to correctly translate it so that its value as a joke is retained in English as well. So if the English speaking gentlemen permit me, I would relate that in Punjabi, the last bit at least. Somebody, was a poor man and he asked somebody to help him with money or something. He said, why don't you ask Allah? He said, I have never prayed. He said, well, try this time. So he bought a prayer cloth, a new prayer cloth, and did his ablution and started praying, particularly for the purpose of begging money from Allah. So unfortunately for him, it so happened that at that right at the moment when he was about to think that, perhaps I'll extend my hand and the money would be, the earthquake occurred. And he fell backwards. And there and then he said, "Paise nahi de raha, takle ko dena hai." You don't want to give me money, why do you throw me away?
No, in this
Why
case,
did you give him dhakkas? He didn't
in this case,
even ask you for money, Poor man was sitting quietly and you just pushed him.
Azur, I clear my position. What happened when speaking, I might go back or this side, so I wanted him to just leave me, leave little space for me, so that I may not trample his hand or something like that.
Yes, but you did it rather,
Good intention, Azur.
rather strongly. Anyway, okay, please.
Surah Baqarah, verse 283 tells us that when we take a loan, one from another, for a term we must write it down except when it is a transaction on the spot. When goods and money.
Why did you read the verse?
Yes, sir.
The verse which was.
I got the
Please read the verse, because this sort of loose translation is not the right way to go about it. Faktu Udyanin, Faktu Duho, these are the words, but I don't remember the full verse.
Yes. Can you read the English translation?
Okay, yes.
O ye who believe, when you borrow one from another for a fixed period, then write it down and let a scribe write it in your presence faithfully. And no scribe should refuse to write, because Allah has taught him. So let him write, and let him who incurs the liability dictate. And he should fear Allah, his Lord, and not diminish
That will suffice, yes? Now what is the question?
Huzur's guidance is requested in the light of the above surah in respect of the following situations and other similar instances. This is a common practice
Interesting, yes.
that friends and colleagues borrow small sums from one another, payable later, and no written documents are exchanged. Number 2, people traveling together, relatives and friends, pay petty expenses to be shared later, contribute as and when required, and no writing is done at the time of payment. The whole transactions are done verbally. Third, I've quoted 3 instances.
Yes, please go ahead, yes.
This is common among the ladies, that they join together, each contributing a fixed sum for a period, and the total sum collected each period is received by each by their turn agreed in the beginning of the system. To my knowledge, no receipts are issued while receiving or giving. This is the common practice.
So what do you want to change it?
This is
I mean, when you go out for a picnic or something, and somebody buys you an ice cream or something, or fish and chips, would you go immediately into writing? Yet, the person who sells that to you does it. So this verse mainly applies to business affairs. And you should extend it to these regions of ordinary social behavior, day-to-day life. This verse doesn't apply these day-to-day ordinary commonplace experiences. But it applies to business transactions. And there everybody must do it. If he does not, then the consequences would not be Allah's wrath, because this verse does not belong to that category where Allah wants you to do something. If you do not do, then you will incur punishment of Allah. This verse belongs to a category where it's an advice for keeping our economic order healthy. And if we ignore this advice, then by the natural economic laws or social moral laws, we will be automatically punished. So when these transactions have a serious nature and you don't commit them to writing, then generally it happens that the differences appear and laws, sometimes they take the shape of lawsuits and quarrels, and sometimes even end up into murders. So these are the punishments of natural laws of Allah. So when you don't do it in ordinary life, number one, don't